Hello everybody, hi, and welcome to today's video. Today's topic is going to be one that has to do with overconsumption, shopping addictions, fast fashion, consumerism, Lolita fashion, alternative fashion, that kind of thing. It is extremely important to be transparent about these things, and I will also share some of my personal opinions and experiences with that kind of thing. So let's jump in and see how we're gonna do. I think first things first, I would like to say that Lolita fashion or any sort of alternative fashion usually tends to be more than just a fashion style. It is not like you're throwing a pair of jeans and don't really care about your fit. It is deeply engraved with usually somebody's lifestyle. Like, it is a lifestyle choice and usually also a hobby. Not everyone who has Lolita as their hobby is also a lifestyle Lolita and the other way around, but you get the idea. Most Lolitas that I know and have interacted with make Lolita their hobby and their lifestyle. They prioritize Lolita, and I do the same thing. Lolita is my priority, and that is where most of my money goes. I think many people also misunderstand the hobby of collecting, especially if it's adults collecting things like toys, dolls, dresses, or any kinds of things, to be honest. Many people like to slap on a label of weird or inappropriate or something along the lines on it, that it's a waste of money, a waste of time, a waste of space. So if somebody has a closet full of football jerseys, it is usually more normalized than somebody that has a closet full of frilly dresses. So there's really a double standard here that I would like to address before I go into criticizing it. A very common sentiment that we see and hear within the Lolita fashion community. Lolita fashion is ethical. Lolita fashion is a slow fashion style. We don't have the problem of overconsumption, and we have the secondhand market. And while that is absolutely true, we do have a wonderful and amazing and thriving secondhand economy, which a lot of alternative fashion spaces do not have as much of as we do. We also have more lasting garments typically. But I would also like to push back a little bit on this idea, and here's why. Number one, it is not 2010 anymore, and we have more access to different brands than we have ever before. We have so many options that it is so easy to overconsume, even if you go for legit Lolita sources. While yes, dresses come out in releases, it is no longer as infrequent as they used to be in the past. They had a much more collection approach than it is today. Further illustrate what I'm talking about, this is Angelic Pretty's website, and this is what currently is available. Their official site, right? You can see a couple matching headpieces for their dresses, and even maybe one or two accessories that match a print, but that's it. And this is the new collection. None of these pieces go together or like work together, and this was in 2009 and 2010. As you can see, they have headpieces, bags, jewelry, all that go within a specific theme. And to me, this is just superior. With more items being added to their shop every other week, new releases coming out more frequently than they ever have before, we see releases that are just slop. I'm sorry. They will not go well in the secondhand market. They are not going to last very long. Of course, not all of the things that I consider being sloppy designs, you will consider sloppy designs. That is entirely opinion-based, and that is completely fine. But I think my point still stands that with the frequent releases, there is really a lack of an entire collection being built. And it's not like they're not capable of this anymore. A lot of people argue that because of the production costs and things like that, they just don't want to do this anymore because it's too expensive. But just take a look at this Halloween collection. They brought back an entire collection from headpieces, multiple jewelry and accessories, even a cape and socks, a matching blouse, different types of dresses. Like, this is the standard that it used to be, so they are still capable of doing this, but just choose not to. And that is a fair criticism in my opinion. Even if you want to bring out more lazy or boring designs, you can still wrap it up in an entire cool collection so people can have something from head to toe for a reasonable price. And again, please, quality should still be something to focus on, and you know, maybe trying to have a little cool designs here and there, I don't know. And also, how are the brands supposed to keep up with good quality and also good designs and interesting designs? This is just not possible. If you have such strict deadlines that something needs to be pushed out, it's just a little strange to me. If you think about it, what is the last banger that they released that wasn't a re-release? What is the Milky Chan of 2025? I cannot think of anything. We are basically always encouraged, ever since we were little, that buying yourself a nice little treat can't do any harm. It's how we strengthen the economy. Maybe you want to support your favorite small business or brands or something along the lines, which there's no harm in, of course. And I also think that a lot of alternative people want a sense of belonging, community, and by participating in consumption, they feel like a sense of belonging. You know, you have the same dress as another content creator, or you have the same figure as them. You know, it just so happens to feel really nice and pleasant. And I also think that Lolita adds a whole nother level to buying. It doesn't allow much room for thought. And hear me out on this one. I will put you on a journey, okay? Imagine this, okay? You are on Lace Market, scrolling as you usually do. But this time, you find your dream dress. Not any dream dress, the dream dress. And you want it really badly. Like, you are not passing this opportunity. But it's listed for bidding. It is currently at $250, and you say to yourself, that's the average price for a dress. I don't care. Sure. So you bid on it, right? And you check every other minute because you're obsessed and this auction ends today. So, you know, you keep bidding because you want to outbid the other person. And by the end, you place your last bid. And suddenly, the $250 that you were originally planning on spending and justifying turned into $700. Now this dress was sold to you for $700. And you kind of didn't realize that you ended up spending more than you were comfortable with because all you were focusing on was obtaining that dream dress and outbidding the other person. A system designed to literally make you not think about the money you're spending because all you care about is getting that dress. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing inherently. If you have the money, why wouldn't you? But usually that price is not worth for the item. And I overspend too. So, you know, I'm not out of this equation, but I'm saying this is a very average Lolita experience, especially if you partake in bidding. Feeling a little guilty, the $700 hit home, but you also realize, wait a minute, this dress is from across the world and I still have to pay for shipping and custom fees. And suddenly, that $700 doesn't stay at $700, but now it's more like $730 or $740, or even worse if you're unlucky. Now, this worst case scenario applies to other situations as well. They might be less severe, but they still limit your room for thought, and that is with the pre-order. Now, this is very nuanced, and it obviously fully depends on when you see the pre-order, but let's just say you see a pre-order. And, you know, you scroll 42 Lolita, and suddenly you see this beautiful, gorgeous dress. Pre-order ends today. And you're like, oh my god, I don't have any time. I want this really bad. You don't care about the money. Might be 60, 70 bucks. Who cares? Add it to cart. You buy it immediately. And then you check when it will be shipped. It will be shipped in about 8 months. I just think there's a very dangerous game that you play with a pre-order that lasts that long. Because your mind will most likely forget that you ever even ordered something, and it will lead you to wanting to buy more things. Because yes, you just spent money, but you're not getting anything anytime soon for that money. And a lot of Lolitas are not limiting themselves in how much they spend or how much they want. They just want to get something that they like. They will just have multiple pre-orders open, or maybe they buy other things in the meantime. Of course, all of these things that I just mentioned are heavily dependent on how you shop and your own morals and your own limits, because not everyone has the same limits. It depends on your own personal income and your own personal space, and also your personal mindset. I am not an exception. I have bad days, really bad days, where I'm struggling, get very fixated on my special interest, such as doll collecting and Lolita. So if I see something that I really like Milky-chan, it can be very hard for me to turn off my brain and stop thinking about it. Know your own limits, and you have to stop yourself if it becomes dangerous, mind-numbing spending. Because yes, enjoying having a package on the way, there's nothing better than the joy of opening a package. I understand. And again, I'm not saying you're not supposed to do that. We have to, as a community, be more mindful of how we spend our money. But you also need to learn to appreciate what you already have. And I know this is hard as a beginner if all you have is a pair of socks and if you're lucky a ring, not even a dress yet. I understand. The circumstances are different for everyone, especially when you're a beginner. It's much easier to justify getting something every other week or every other day. Being a a beginner is really hard if you want to start in a new fashion style. It is hard and it sucks. When I was a beginner, I was so jealous of all the people around me, all the Lolitas around me that had all of these amazing items, closets full of angelic pretty, and I was just an 11-year-old with obviously zero, and the only thing my mom felt comfortable at the time ordering from was Amazon and eBay. So obviously, my first Lolita dress wasn't a proper Lolita dress, but some weird knockoff from Amazon or eBay. I just wanted to feel included into this community that I felt so far away from. I felt like I was not any close to being able to join, and it feels very isolating. Because if you're a beginner, you want to have everything. You feel left out and isolated, and you feel like you're not truly part of the experience yet. Maybe your mom doesn't allow you to order from all the Lolita sites or J fashion sites. So what do? You go to the next best options, and usually those are Amazon, and also lately a lot of Shein. So if you're a minor, there's really not much you can do because you literally have to do what your parents say, and if they're not allowing it, then well, shit out of luck, right? And I want people in the community to have some empathy for these individuals because we all start somewhere and there's really no need to hate on these people, and I don't want these beginners to feel targeted in my next section of this video because I'm only talking about people who purposefully don't want to rely on actual Lolita resources and just prefer fast fashion. So please keep that in mind for my next section. In my personal opinion, as a literal Lolita content creator, I see many different sides of Lolitas, beginners, whatever. The first type is usually the ones that are very grateful for educational content and are also just asking genuine questions. But the other one is the one that I would like to focus on. And those are typically people who are really not giving a shit about actual Lolita resources and more so about obtaining things quickly. They somehow hold the opinion that Lolita is inherently expensive and thus kind of generalizing that it's totally fine to order of sites like Amazon and Shein and Runway and all of these fast fashion sites. And listen, I don't want to blame these people. And I also 100% want to mention that there are size inclusive options. A lot of people say that Shein and Runway are the only ones that offer size inclusivity, but I'm telling you right now, 42 Lolita has a plus size section, and also Metamorphosis. There's a lot of brands out there that also offer plus size options. So you don't have to go for these literal child labor companies that literally are notorious for stealing designs. And I also want to tell you that Amazon, Shein, and Runway are not cheaper. They simply aren't. I know a lot of people say this all the time, but just compare these prices and compare the quality that you're getting. Do you actually want a piece that is going to fall apart within the first wash? Probably not. The TikTokification of Lolita fashion and all alternative fashion styles, microtrends. I'm sure you have been aware of the clean girl, clean goth, clean this, clean that, and everything is getting a little bit more minimalist, conservative in a way. And luckily Lolita fashion isn't really in the public eye, which is why our community doesn't really experience microtrends very much. But I hate to say this, we still have an issue with trend cycles and main Lolita brands. The normalization of bad quality even in main brands. I think that on TikTok there are many people who like to cosplay as alternative fashion styles, including Lolita, Gyaru, Jadaike, all of that. They don't actually care about the mindsets and almost like culture that comes along with it. The amount of people who told me that they don't care about replicas and that replicas are a good thing is alarming. A replica of Gucci is probably not going to hurt Gucci. I'm on this one with you. But as soon as you try to put that logic onto Lolita fashion is where it goes really wrong really quickly. Listen, Lolita fashion is a very niche fashion style with a lot of independent designers even for the major brands. I follow a lot of angelic pretty designers on Instagram and they put a lot of hard work into the print designs. Even if sometimes the execution doesn't look as good as their original designs, I get that, but it's the idea here, okay? It's a lot of original art, original designs that are being stolen, and people just don't give a fuck. The amount of comments I see with "the world kept spinning," that's such a non-issue. Isn't it more alternative to buy replicas? What? Can we start caring again where and how we source our clothing, please, in 2025? If you are 12, I don't expect you to understand the nuance yet. But if you are in your 20s and you don't get that concept, I don't know what to tell you. Because do you think the brand, whoever replicated the dress, cares about artistry? Probably not. I guess it just scares me that so many people don't care about where they source their clothing from. If they buy it from Shein and the seams are literally bursting the moment you put the item on, they don't care about the longevity of an item. They don't care if it's a replica. They literally just don't care, because all they care about is wanting something now and cheap. And the amount of people who tell me that Lolita fashion is classist on TikTok, I understand that Lolita fashion is, in the long run, expensive because you want to have all these things. But if you choose to only view Angelic Pretty as a valid source, don't talk to me about expensive. Lolita fashion does not have to be expensive. If you can shop at H&M and buy a shirt for 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 40 bucks, you can buy a Taobao dress for similar the price. I don't want to make people feel bad. It is a hobby. It is a collector's hobby. Of course, there's always going to be people who cannot afford basic necessities. But Lolita fashion, just like any other fashion style, is a luxury. Because by default, it means that you have to spend money on it. Sew your own dresses, but even that costs money. So no matter how you spin it, Lolita fashion will cost you money. You never have to buy anything new. I'm talking from head to toe, from wig to ring, from petticoat to bloomers, socks to JSK. If you don't want to, you never have to buy anything new. Because the secondhand economy will have you covered with millions of things that you can buy. From Taobao brands to self-made to high brands. Not all roses and rainbows, because there are something called resellers. So this is where the consuming becomes really, really unfun really quickly. I'm talking vintage resellers selling dresses from Bodyline, sometimes for up to $100, which is completely unreasonable, may I say. They are not worth that money. Or even lace market sellers selling dresses for almost 1K because they seem rare. It's just inflating the market artificially, which makes no sense and just ruins the joy for everyone involved. What are my final thoughts? I believe that you should do and monitor yourself however you think is best. If you want to buy something every month, then you are free to do so. I also think we should start caring about the quality of the pieces that we buy, the longevity of them, and also whether or not you're actually going to wear them. What I do is leave things in my shopping cart for a few days. And I really try to think hard about whether or not these items will go with the items that I already have. I don't think that people that have really big collections are shopping addicts, and I also don't think that everyone who likes to treat themselves when they're a little sad are immediately shopping addicts. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this very ranty video. I know it is all over the place, but I figured it was really important to mention. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I love you so much, and check out my Twitch, check out my Instagram, my TikTok, all of these things, and I love you so much. See you in the next one. Bye!